Hey everyone, welcome back to One Strange Adventure and welcome to the next video. In today's video, we're going to talk about the top RV mistakes. That's right, things that I have encountered personally or I have observed through other RVers, and I've made a list of those things, so I want to share that with you. If you're just starting out or you're a seasoned veteran, hopefully this can help you out. All right, number one on the list is you're just trying to do too much. Maybe you're a newbie, maybe you have just upgraded to a new RV, whatever the case, you're just trying to take on too much. And I've seen this happen over and over. Things can get tricky, you can get tired, and it makes for a negative experience. And if you have negative experiences the first time you go out or the first few times you go out, well, then that's what you're going to associate RVing with, is with those negative experiences. We want to avoid that. So when you go out, go for short trips to begin with, and make sure that you are taking, the things that you would need, plan it out, and just have fun with it. You're out there to make memories. Number two is something that I've struggled with, and that's buying your dream RV for your first RV. And the reason I say that is because what I have found, either through the progression that we've made through tent camping, and then we went to a travel trailer, and now we are in a fifth wheel. Each time we have learned what we like and what we don't like. And each time we're able to take those experiences and apply them to the next purchase. And so if you just go out and you do a bunch of research and it's your first time buying an RV and you think you're going to get that perfect one that's for the long term, well, you're going to miss a lot of experiences. And what I mean by that is, well, you could figure out halfway down the road that you didn't really need the bunkhouse, or you didn't really need the toy hauler, and you could have upgraded in other areas, or you did need that toy hauler, you did need the bunkhouse because now you have children or grandchildren or friends coming with you and you wish you had somewhere for them to sleep. Those are things that you find out as you're going through your camping experience. Number three on the list is thinking that you have to buy everything to begin with, and that is so far from the truth. There are some essential things that you do need to go out, and I have another video for that, so I will link that up in the corner and in the description. But there are so many things that you can do without. And just like number two, you're also going to learn through experience exactly what you need. So when I say that is, do you need a water splitter, a hose splitter? So going from 1 to 2, maybe you do, maybe you don't. But those are things that you're going to get out into camping experiences and situations, and you're going to be like, man, I really wish I had this. Make a list. And then every time you say that, make a list. Add it to an Amazon list or something like that. That way you can go back and purchase that thing when you're ready to. But don't feel like you have to buy it all to get started, or you will never get started. So just go out and have fun. Okay, number 4 on the list, and it's something that I personally struggle with sometimes, is getting into big of a rush. When you get into a rush with this much responsibility around you, you make mistakes, and mistakes can be costly, and we want to avoid them by all means. And so make sure you're not rushing around. Separate responsibilities. Have somebody help you out. Make a checklist. That is the single most important thing you could do. Make a checklist for the things you have to do before you leave, while you're on the road, setting up camp, breaking down camp, and things you need to do when you get back home. And so those things can be very important, and it's the little details that you can miss if you're in a rush. So number 5 on the list is practice towing whatever you have before you go out camping. Find an empty parking lot. Spend some time getting to know your RV and how it operates, whether that is a Class C or Class A and you're actually driving it, or you're towing a fifth wheel or a travel trailer or even a teardrop. Every one of those things are going to react differently. I went from tent camping to a 30-foot travel trailer to now a 37-foot fifth wheel. And I can tell you, it's night and day between how the travel trailer and the fifth wheel react. So I would encourage you guys, go out to find an empty parking lot and just practice. The last thing you want to do is get into a situation where it's a very tight window to back up into your campsite, and there's people all around watching you. You're going to get nervous. You're going to feel like you have to rush, and then that's when mistakes happen. Go into your camping experience confident that you're going to be able to put that camper wherever you need to. All right, so number 6 on the list is not something that I have done, but definitely something I have observed. Be a good camping neighbor. Camping etiquette. So what I mean by that is, don't be blaring music at midnight, having the party of the century, the next campsite over. You never know, the people next to you could have kids, could have animals. It can cause them anxieties, and then you're impacting their experience. So don't have the big bright lights shining. It's really cool to roll up with the neons and everything underneath the camper and maybe show them off for a little while people are around the campfire and stuff like that. But turn them off when it's time to turn them off, and make sure that you are giving everybody else the same respect that you would expect back from them. And everybody will have an enjoyable camping experience. Number 7 is actually something I see pretty frequently. It's your awnings. Make sure you know when to bring your awnings in, whether that is during a storm, if it's just getting too windy, if you're leaving for an extended amount of time, or even just at nighttime when you're going to sleep. You never know what's going to happen. It's a good routine to just bring in your awnings to make sure they're not out and having the potential to be damaged at nighttime. The last thing you want to do is wake up in the morning, go outside with an awning that's like half over your door, and you're trying to figure out what's going on. So be safe. Make sure that you pull your awnings in, and they will last a lot longer for you. Number 8, check the weather. I laugh because there's been several times when I have not checked the weather and I paid for it. It seems like every time I need to get up, maybe it's a Sunday morning, it's travel day, we're headed back home, we need to pack everything back up, and it is pouring down raining. If I went camping 5 times last year, and it was more than that, but just for this example, if I went camping 5 times, it rained at least 3 of those times on the day that we needed to come back home. And so always check the weather. What you're going to be able to do is put things away the night before it starts raining, that can soak up that water and absorb that water. The last thing you want is to be like me and have those things basically just draining into your bay as you're traveling down the road because, well, it's raining and there's no way to get them dry before you have to leave. So check your weather. Make sure that you're always up to date on the weather patterns of the area, particularly if you're going to a new area. Certain areas of the country around like the Great Lakes and things like that, storms can pop up out of nowhere, and you want to make sure that you are staying on top of that and you are staying safe. Number 9 is know your RV size. And so this is very important, particularly when you're traveling down the road. There are overpasses that could potentially be shorter than the current height of your RV, and make sure that you're taking into account those ACs that are sitting on the top of your RV, because they sit up another foot and a half from the roof. And you want to make sure that you know exactly how tall you are, the width, and the overall length. Those 3 measurements are going to be critical. It might be helpful to just write them down somewhere so you always know. That way, if you're coming up to an overpass and it says 11'6", you have the information right in front of you to know whether or not you're going to fit. There are also some national parks that actually have restrictions on the overall length based on where you're traveling, because you can't make certain turns around the mountains. So that is tow vehicle and camper included. So you always want to make sure that you're checking out where you're going and the path to get there. One tip to think about is actually getting an RV specific GPS. And I have one, and what that does is it allows me to enter the size and the weight of our RV And then when you're calculating the path or the route that you need to travel, it will take all of that in consideration and make sure that you're not going into areas that you could potentially get into bad situations with the length or the size of your RV. So check those out. Definitely helpful to have one. Number 10 on the list is simply plan. Plan out your trip. It takes a little bit of time up front. And when I say plan, I mean, think about where you're going to need to stop for gas. Think about where you may need to stop for a rest area. Do you have pets with you? Do you need to let them use the restroom? Do you have kids that need to go to the restroom or need snacks? There are many variables that you will want to take in consideration as you're planning. I actually use RV Trip Wizard, and I'm able to put in there, one, the size and the length and the weight of our RV. And so it does take that all into consideration when it's creating our routes. The other thing that it takes in consideration is how far do I want to travel at on any given day. And so I put in there about 350 miles. And what it will do is you put in your point of interest and it'll give you a circle, or a radius around that point of interest to let you know how far you could go. It also gives you recommended areas of where to stop and fill up for fuel. And so you actually put in your truck's miles per gallon and the fuel tank size, and it will let you know where it thinks you need to stop along your route. So it does take a little extra time, but planning is worth it. Unless you just like being spur of the moment and just go and do something, those are awesome too. More power to you. I like to plan things out and make sure that I have a clean route all the way to our destination and all the way home, and make sure that we have a fun, safe time. All right, well, that's it. Those are the 10 mistakes that I've either seen or have actually done myself. And so I wanted to share those with you. Hopefully, relieve some of the stress of RV travel for you, whether you are a beginner or you have, lots of years of experience. I'm sure you've encountered a few of those yourself if you do have the experience. And so I just wanted to share that with the community, make sure that you guys have some more information. After all, RVing is about going out and being with family and making memories. So the more stress you can take out of that process, the more enjoyable it will be for everyone. All right, well, that does it. If you like this video, make sure you give it a thumbs up. If you really like the video, make sure you subscribe. And until the next strange adventure, keep making your own. What's up, everyone? Thanks so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed watching that video as much as I enjoyed making it. I've got 2 requests of you. Go ahead and click that subscribe button. It's right under this video. And then after you're done with that, click those little videos that are right over there and enjoy some more of our content. And until the next strange adventure, keep making your own.